Graham Sackerson.
Fellow Rotarians, please join me in the pledge to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the four-way test by Jerry Farmer.
So, thank you all for coming, visitors to our club. It's really nice to have you here. Kim will say that later, of course. One of the things that Rotary did very, very early on was conceive of the idea that it's really, really important for leaders in our community, business leaders, community leaders, and so on, to have a code of ethics. And so the four-way test was formed, and so we recited each meeting to remind ourselves of how great Rotary is. So, fellow Rotarians, please join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
and fourth,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
and fifth.
Is it fun?
So this morning we have a visiting Rotarian, Ken Mosley. In the essence of time, please quiet down. Said with a smile. A very devious one. So our visiting Rotarian is Ken Balsley with Lacey.
Yay! Ken Baldwin, Lacey.
Guests this morning are John Hall of Dougmont.
So joining us today is John Hall over there. John is a retired software engineer as well as a guitar maker, and he's married to Mary Hall.
And then the Olympian, not sure the first name. Where are you? Right there.
Dusty Demmer.
Dusty? She's right there.
Welcome, Dusty.
Let's see. I don't know who invited this person. I can't read the writing. Rick Ho, is it? Hi, Rick.
Welcome.
Andrew Saturn.
Welcome.
Lisa Ornstein. Nice to meet you. Shannon Glenn.
Oh, I got it. So I brought two guests today. Shannon Glenn is with the South Korea Sound Community College Foundation. She's their alumni engagement coordinator. And then also I'm happy to say Ann Larson's here with us. She's now at event support. She's the chief operating officer within board support. So thanks for joining.
And then Len Fosher. You have a guest.
Yes, I've got Mary Catherine, who's a public relations warehouser here as well today.
Jerry Farmer has a guest.
I have a guest, Marta De La Torre. She's the new executive director of Claris. Well, not that new. She's been here about a year or so. So there you go. So if you need to see clearly, she's the person to talk to. I can see clearly now in the rain and snow.
And then we also have, I'll let Doug Ma introduce our, Joe.
I'm happy to say I brought my lovely wife Myra today as my guest.
And then Mary Hall is also a guest. And then Stuart Holmes will be up here with Doug Ma and Mary.
Yay!
Okay. So any other guests that didn't get signed in that would like to stand up and introduce themselves? Okay, let's move on. Announcements, Len Fosher.
Thank you. So I know I missed last week. I had a pretty bad cold, but I just want to ask a question. September 8th was?
Great!
Fantastic. I want to commend especially the planning committee. Planning committee members, could you just stand real quick? Let's hear it for these folks with all the dedicated hard work. my job was simple, was basically to orchestrate and just get out in front and conduct the band. The band did fantastic. So everybody knows the final net numbers. $37,000 was brought in. Well done by everybody. Thank you all volunteers. Thank you for all your hard work. And next year, we're going to even make it better, because we'll have the 7th one on the 7th. So keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
And Len did a great job leading us this year. There is no classification speaker this morning. And Nate, we do have a couple of awards to present.
Read off this. Rotary, we make dreams a reality through extraordinary projects here at home and around the world. These projects would not be possible without the generous support of Rotarians and friends of our Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation recognizes individuals who have gave $1,000 or more annually to the Foundation, inducting them into the Paul Harris Society. Today we recognize Amanda Vey, Troy Kirby, and Mike Jones for their generous support and contributions to the work and mission of the Rotary Foundation. Will the three of you please come forward and get your certificate and pins?
Wait a minute. Photo.
Way to go, Amanda. There you go.
Paul Harris fellows in the background. They're very tall, aren't they? Yeah, that's right. There you go. Oh, that's a good shot there. Last.
Congratulations. And now, Doug Ma for his political forum.
Yay, Doug Ma!
Now, it's not my political forum. This is Gateway Rotary's political forum.
Yeah, Gateway Rotary.
So we're starting off today with candidates for Thurston County Auditor. So very exciting, right?
Yeah.
Very exciting. Doesn't
Go
get more
auditing.
exciting than the auditor here.
Yeah.
So this year, again, we're starting off with some of the local races, and then we'll go to some of the statewide races as well. And so joining us today are candidates Stuart Holmes and Mary Hall, who are running for Thurston County Auditor. Mary is the incumbent. So as I kind of introduce you, you can kind of come forward and stand here. So ultimately on my right will be, well actually let me go back. Back up here. I'll give you a little bit of information about the auditor's office. And this comes off of, oddly enough, the auditor's website.
Well, there you go.
So the auditor conducts federal, state, and local elections, processes licenses and titles, records and preserves all real estate documents for the county, and provides internal county financial services and guidance, including accounting, financial reporting, accounts payable, and payroll. So on my left is Stuart. Stuart is married to Stefina. They have a miniature dachshund named Remy. Together they enjoy photography, backpacking, and spending time with friends and family. So Stuart has 3 sisters, including a twin sister. He has worked for the Thurston County Auditor's Office, and after 9 years there, Stuart was hired by the Secretary of State's office and has worked there for the last 4 years. On my right is Mary. Mary was elected Thurston County Auditor in 2013 and again in 2014. She claims over 30 years of professional leadership experience in corporate and government sectors, including over 20 years in elections. She is chair of the Olympia Kiwanis Harbor Days and a member of the Olympia Kiwanis Club, so we won't hold that against you here at Rotary. When not working for Thurston County, you will find Mary playing with her cat and 2 dogs, camping, gardening, and boating with her husband John, who was introduced as a guitar player. So welcome. Glad you are here. So one of the things you'll note here at Gateway Rotary is we only have 1 microphone. And we never touch the microphone. It's an important rule here as we moderate. So in addition to asking the questions and moderating, I'm going to serve as your timekeeper. And the way in which we do this is you will stand here in front of the microphone and provide your answers, and I will stand off to the side. And as your time starts to come toward an end, I will get closer and closer into your personal space. If I am physically touching you, it means that you have gone beyond your allotted time. If I push you out of the way, it means hush, game over, and remember the undersheriff is here. So with that, we shall begin. Normally we would flip a coin and have randomly select which candidate goes first. But since Stuart is a member of our club, I think it's appropriate that we have Mary go first. So each of you will be allowed to make a 2-minute introductory statement, and then after that I'll ask you the first question. So Mary, if you would like to start your 2-minute introduction.
Good morning. So in my 5 years as auditor, I've improved access to voting and made it easier for the military to receive their ballots. And due to my work on voter access legislation, I was honored by the governor and the only elected official to speak at the bill signing ceremony. And voter registrations have increased 10% since I took office, 20% for military voters. And during the last 5 years, I've streamlined government, eliminated waste, and reduced costs. By combining Thurston County and the state's voters pamphlet, I've saved taxpayer dollars, $50,000 in 2014 and $16,000 in 2016. And we're one of the few counties that even publishes primary and special election voters pamphlets. We used to pay mileage on cars when we go to drop or lock up our drop boxes at 8 o'clock on election night. Now I partner with the assessor. I use his vehicles because they're parked at 8 o'clock. That saves taxpayer dollars as well. And I've also encouraged county departments to take vendor discounts, something government really isn't used to doing. And to give you an idea of the amounts, a single premium invoice for ballots is a $1,000 discount. And we've saved over $93,000 in the last few years just on vendor discounts. You know, I've also moved the county from a high risk to a low risk audit category, and that saved us about $10,000 just this year in audit costs from the state auditor. I've also spearheaded a cybersecurity task force, met with the Homeland Security. I'm working very hard to keep our elections safe. And I'm also implementing 2-factor authentication for all of the election workers. So it's been an honor to serve as your auditor for the last 5 years. Thank you.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Doug. It's an honor to be here this morning. Thank you all for having us here today. First thing is I gotta thank my wife first and foremost. Campaigning is, I'm up here talking at the microphone, but it's definitely a family affair. I appreciate my wife's support, and she brings out the best of me every single day. So the reason why I'm standing in front of you today is because I, like most of you, have seen a political shift in the discourse. And so I wanted to bring an independent approach to decision-making in state and local government. Just one small correction to Doug's introduction to me. I didn't actually work for the Thurston County Auditor. I worked for the Benton County Auditor for 9 years, so just a small correction there. But I did work in the County Auditor's office for 9 years before I decided to take a deep dive into working for the Secretary of State's office and bringing cybersecurity and accessibility improvements to the state. One of my achievements over the last 4 years was leading an effort to completely redesign the voter information portal. I'm sure you guys have seen it or used it. It's called MyVote. We completely redesigned it to be 100% ADA accessible, so any voter living with a disability or using assistive technology can get access to information and vote independently and privately. The major takeaway from that effort was that it cost the state $0. And over 1 million voters have used that. And so bringing that type of innovation is what I would bring to the auditor's office, not only in the form of cybersecurity and preventative measures like that, but also accounting for accessibility and ensuring that people have the ability to access the information they need regardless of their ails. So coming into it from that is what I hope to bring, and I see Doug is getting a little closer, but I appreciate you guys having us here today. Thank you.
So the first question the candidates have received in advance, and that question is, What are the 3 most pressing issues facing the Thurston County Auditor's Office, and how will you address them? 1 minute to respond. I think we'll start with Mary. Go. 1 minute.
I think the first is, of course, budget. You know, the counties are really a two-legged stool. We receive sales tax and property taxes, so the county really doesn't have the resources a lot of jurisdictions do. Plus, as the seat of the state government, we don't receive property taxes on all of the state buildings, and nor do they pay court impact fees. So we work with a few dollars, and I've been very innovative in spending those dollars to make sure that we can still reach out to people and provide good services. In fact, I'll be starting passport services in October. I think the other issue we have is, of course, and everybody has this, is cybersecurity is a big pressing issue for everybody. So how do we get government together on this?
So Stuart, the top 3 issues facing the Thurston County Auditor's Office and how we address it in 1 minute.
The number 1 issue facing Thurston County as a whole is actually the housing crisis. The single biggest contribution to ending homelessness and affordable housing actually comes from the document reporting fees collected by the auditor. I think also having a healthy democracy is key to Thurston County and thriving in that area. So improving the voter turnout has got to be the second biggest thing, and that includes actually investing a little bit into our community in the form of education and outreach and getting out into the communities. How did I do? 30 seconds. You're welcome.
That was pretty good, 30 seconds. Okay, so the next set of questions come from members of the club. So we'll start with Stuart, leading off first. The first question comes from Stephen T. Stephen asks, or states, the auditor's office has many important responsibilities for day-to-day routine functions. Please share your experience with being a manager who, quote, keeps the trains running on time, quote. What is your experience with developing a workplace culture that empowers the staff to continuously improve their own work process? 1 minute.
Thank you. That's actually a really good question. Having come from Benton County, Washington, where I was the election administrator there, building a key team that could actually take over after I left was one of the things that I held dearly, is being able to have people that could replace each other and step in where so staff could take personal leave and family time away from the office, and being able to take that vacation time in elections. I think we are very passionate about working and getting the job done, but I think it is important to also keep in mind that there's families behind every person, and being able to have that opportunity to take time away from the office and knowing that your work is going to get done to the same levels as you would is one of the things that I bring into my manager position, both at the Benton County and at the Secretary of State's office.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's very important to really respect your employees and have confidence in them, and I really believe in work-life balance. I also believe in cross-training, because you're right, we do need people to be able to take vacations, especially in elections. So we're big on having primary backup alternates, so if somebody takes off, they don't have to feel stressed that their job isn't getting done. I'm also very big on taking advantage of all the training opportunities we have within the county. And I also allow employees to make the decisions. When we were setting up our passports, they made the decisions of how the space was going to work. They made the decision of how they were going to rotate people in and out of those positions. And I think when you allow people to do that, they take a lot of ownership over their jobs.
So the next question will start with Mary, and this one comes from Dan W. Dan asks, as our county auditor candidate, what question do you frequently hear from your small business constituents, and what is your response? 1 minute.
We work more with individual customers who come in for licensing service or recording documents, but I think the main question I get from small business owners is where's the new courthouse going to be? And that's more of a question for Commissioner Buckley, who's in the audience. I work a lot with educators, and we're working hard to bring students into the voting process. And we're also working with people on our future voter program. So if there are any small businesses out there, especially restaurateurs, who would like to help us get involved, we want to make placemats and coasters and things like that that promote voting, because that is the cornerstone of our democracy. So anybody who would like to help us in that process, we'd love to have you.
I think most businesses are just like anyone of the rest of us. They're wondering how the government can help them by saving money, reducing the burden, using our tax dollars more wisely. One of the things that I think the auditor can do is reduce election costs to save those fees getting passed on to the local districts like cities and schools and fires, so they can use those dollars for more critical needs other than paying for their elections. In addition to that, I think being able to make Thurston County a destination for services and expanding those services to produce more revenue so that we can invest back into our community and get some of these vital programs up and running with additional dollars that they can use to put back into our community, create jobs and things like that.
Thank you. So the next question will start off with Stuart, and this one comes again from Dan W. He asks, why would I like to come to work for your auditor's office?
It's a really good question, yeah. I think what I brought to every team that I've led is a sense of excitement. I think being able to be a part of that team and be a thriving member, being able to have that ability to create something new and have passion over what you're doing and share that passion with every other member of the team, and having the ability to impact your community in a way that is meaningful and demonstratively proven, I think, is what I think people get into elections for, and serving the public in the auditor's office by document reporting, marriage licensing, being able to collect those fees and see where they're going. Is exactly why people get into public service and service in general.
I think people would want to come to work for the auditor's office because it's a great place to work. My staff's very happy. In fact, the last person we hired in our recording department, that was one of the statements she made at the end. I come in here every day and everybody looks so happy, and she had a great attitude and had the experience, and we hired her. So, and she's working out very well. You know, I think the people that come into elections really want to serve their community, and they believe in democracy, or they don't trust the system and they want to come in and fix it. And you know, of course, once they're there for a little while, they see all of the checks and balances that we have in place and the security measures we take. As far as my finance department, you know, they do a lot of good. They reach out to other departments. They help when they're struggling, when they have turnover. And I think that gives them, you know, a sense of belonging and accomplishment. And it is a great place to work. So, thanks.
Thank you. So we'll start the next question with Mary. This one comes from Joe D. Joe asks, what one thing is the most important thing you can accomplish over this upcoming term?
Well, we've had a lot of changes in legislation recently. Same-day voter registration kicks in next year, as well as pre-registration for 16 and 17-year-olds. And with the pre-registration bill, I'm going to be developing a future voter program. In fact, I've met with Graham Sackerson and you as well. You know, we're putting a group together to figure out how we can get youth engaged in the process. And we're getting ready to pull those groups back together, but we're going to be partnering with SPSCC, who's actually going to be a major sponsor of this effort. And we're going to work with the Running Start program and kids in high school. We want to bring juniors and seniors into the program and actually have them develop it. And that came in my last meeting. It was like this aha moment. I was talking to all the school directors and people like that. The kids know best how to influence their peers.
Stuart, if I could accomplish one thing in the next 4 years as your county auditor, what I would do is I would work with the county commissioners to develop a program to combat the housing crisis that's currently going on across Thurston County. As I mentioned kind of before in my remarks, the county auditor collects document recording fees, and 66% of that actually stays with the county by way of the Ended Homelessness Act and the Affordable Housing Act. In addition to that, a single dollar of that recording fee actually stays with the auditor's office for historical document preservation, and I believe developing a program in which we are able to create temporary jobs or part-time positions for people to come in and help in that effort to get them off the street and get them jobs, get them stable employment. In addition, you would be able to, if they were able to meet their expectations, have a job recommendation for permanent employment for the county auditor. So, anyways, that's what I would accomplish in the next 4 years.
Great, thank you. So the next question comes from Doug M.
Not Doug.
Not Doug.
Not Doug.
So we'll start with Mary. One of the things I failed to mention is that the auditor's office, the position of county auditor is considered a partisan position. So the question is, if elected, would you support changing the position of auditor from a partisan position to a non-partisan position? Why or why not?
Well, there's nothing partisan about being auditor, that is certainly for sure. And a lot of the auditor's office, in fact, every office north to the border of Thurston County is a nonpartisan office. So I think there's some, people think, oh, there's politics, but there's really not. I mean, people don't talk about politics. I don't allow that. I don't allow campaign workers to work, election workers to work on campaigns. Would I support making it nonpartisan? That's really not up to me, and I tend to not get involved in political things because that's not my role. I do think that having it a partisan position kind of shows where you are in the spectrum, because I think the Democratic Party tends to be more inclusive, the Republican Party tends to distrust more likely. So either way is fine with me. I think it's a great job, but there really is nothing partisan about it.
So as Doug kind of suggested, I'm running as an independent. I've never contributed to a political party or a partisan candidate or a ballot measure. And so I'm completely coming up as an independent because I believe my only obligation really should be to tell the truth. I would not support making this position a nonpartisan position, and I'll tell you why. The counties that have done that, where they've gone to the county auditor being a nonpartisan position, have had seen reduction in ballot casts, or it's called residual vote rate, in the county auditor's position. Voters rely on partisan indicators in order to make an informed decision whether you think that's a good idea or not. It's a statistical fact that people tend not to participate in nonpartisan races, and I think this is, even though we made light of it at the beginning, the auditor's position is extremely important to the betterment of our community. Thank you.
So the next question comes from Dan W. Dan asks, are there new opportunities for technology in the auditor's office to create more efficiency and higher levels of service? What are they? Let's start with Stuart.
There's probably not any new technologies. I think we can leverage existing technologies. I think one of the things that is going to be coming in the next couple of years is I'm leading a project to completely replace the existing election management and voter registration system at the state level in partnership with all 39 county auditors. And one of those things is being able to use GIS coordinates rather than a street file, so that people that are suffering from homelessness don't need a traditional address in order to get registered to vote at the right precinct. There are ways around that in today's system, but it's, there's workarounds, and so being able to do that quickly and easily for the voters, I think that's something there. In addition, providing services to our rural communities so that they don't have to drive to Olympia to get the services that they need can easily be done with as little as a Wi-Fi connection or a hotspot. So being able to leverage those existing technologies to provide services to our community is something I'll bring to this position. Hey, I did a minute.
Yeah.
Mary, 1 minute. New technology.
I think there are a lot of opportunities for new technology. I think in elections we're pretty solid there. Although we are bringing in a new system that's going to allow us to do risk limiting audits, which I think is going to, we're going to invite people in to see how that works. But the county is embarking on an enterprise-wide system because currently our financial system doesn't talk to our payroll system, for example, and we have a lot of workarounds in the county. So we're working on a system that's going to encompass all departments, all divisions, that will be able to feed into the system so there's not as much manual redundant entry. And I'm always looking for new ways to innovate with technology. I came from the tech sector, and you know, I always want to see what's the next best mousetrap.
So the last question before we go on to the kind of wrapping things up here comes from Mike J. And Mike asks probably the most important question: what do you like to do for fun? Mary.
I love being outdoors. I am an avid gardener, and I love the beauty of landscape, so I can sit in my garden and just chill, and that is very rewarding to me. I love to hike, get in the mountains, enjoy nature, the wildflowers, that sort of thing. And I love to boat. We have a little pontoon boat, and I just really like being on the water, seeing the water, kayaking, that sort of thing, and just spending time with friends. I love really intelligent conversations, you know, that show different perspectives and things like that. And I like to learn. I like to read.
Stuart.
So my wife and I kind of do everything together. So we, whether it's outside or thrift shopping or torturing our little miniature Dachshund running, he gives me a hard time all the time. But yeah, we take, we photograph together, we adventure together, we explore together. I think anytime both of us are in the same room, we're going to make it really exciting and lively. So